Hello and welcome to a time special presentation for Thirukkural with the Times, where we explore real world lessons from the classic Tamil text Thirukkural with motivational speaker, author and diversity champion Bharathi Baskar as she explores the masterpiece. As one grows older, one slowly begins to see the contours of mortality with painful clarity. Death of a close ones reminds us that life is a river whose currents move swiftly. We recall long conversations and the quiet care we often took for granted. But is the love lost forever, or does it come through other channels? To know Thiruvalluvar's thoughts on the subject.
When we are young, death feels like a smoke drifting somewhere far away, visible but distant, and never close enough to worry about. Life in youth is a horizon that stretches endlessly. But as the years move on, the horizon shifts. Just as a stream running atop a hill must eventually surrender itself into a waterfall, the path of life too bends towards its inevitable descent. We slowly begin to see the contours of mortality with painful clarity. The first losses often come from a distance. Distant relatives, grandparents, elders whose absence seems natural. But the circle keeps tightening. Parents, relatives, friends, people we meet on an everyday basis. They begin their journey to the other shore. Some losses feel impossible to accept. I was just talking to her yesterday. How can she be gone today? As one ages, the news of death becomes strangely more frequent than the news of life. I remember my mother, in her later years, turning first to the obituary page of her daily newspaper. She would glance quickly, her eyes searching, then as though offering a silent prayer for the departed, or perhaps breathing a sigh of relief that no familiar name appeared, she would turn slowly to the other pages. Across civilizations, cultures, and religions, humanity has carried with it the idea of memento mori. Remember that you will die. Far from being a grim obsession, this idea is a mirror showing us what truly matters. Death in its silent authority has always been the ultimate purveyor of perspective. It strips away the petty burdens of worry, exposing how trivial most our concerns are. It reminds us that life is a river whose currents move swiftly, that moments we once clutched tightly are already long past, dissolved into memory. When someone close departs, the memories arrive like lightning, sudden, sharp, and luminous. Their number still rests in our contact list, too sacred to delete. We recall long conversations, laughter that once filled empty evenings, and the quiet care we often took for granted. Time, the great healer, eventually lays a hand upon the wound. Acceptance grows, but never fully without scars. A familiar song, a forgotten photograph, or a date on the calendar is enough to unearth the pain again. How powerless we stand before the mighty force of time, who takes away everyone and everything. I am reminded of a story from Franz Kafka's life. He was a German philosopher and a poet. He often visited a park where one day he saw a little girl weeping over the loss of her beloved doll. Kafka promised to return the next day with news. When the girl came back, he handed her a letter from the doll explaining that she had gone on a journey and would write of her adventures. Day after day, Kafka met the girl, reading out letters full of imagined travels and delightful conversation. Months later, he brought her a new doll, saying the doll had returned from its journey. The girl protested, but This does not look like my doll. Kafka handed her another letter. My travels have changed me. The child embraced the doll and found peace. Years later, after Kafka's death, the now grown girl discovered a hidden letter inside the doll. In it, Kafka had written, "Everything you love will probably be lost, but in the end, love will return in another way." This is the mystery of loss. People may depart, but the love they poured into us never vanishes. It lingers, takes new shapes, and strengthens us to continue living and passing that love forward. This great continuum, the unbroken chain of love, is perhaps all that life truly is. For those who awaken to this realization, joy and sorrow lose their sharp edges. Life's ephemeral happenings no longer bind them. Thiruvalluvar expressed this profound vision with unmatched clarity. Irulneengi, Inbam Payakkum, Marulneengi, Masaru, kaatchi Yavarkku. Those who see through ignorance to reality find bliss. Others remain fettered by delusion. In the end, grief dissolves into perspective. Love returns in other forms, and we learn to flow like the river towards the sea of acceptance.